Hey guys, I'm Frankie with Patriot Pros. Today we're going to be talking about water heaters. First, the signs that you could be seeing for it to be going out or putting you guys at either kind of a flooding danger or carbon monoxide risk. To start with the flooding danger, one of the main signs we look for are these are where your supply lines connect to your plumbing system. So there's threads right here, and a lot of times what we'll see on older water heaters is right at the threads, you can see right here where rust starts to form or some kind of corrosion. So this is one of the signs that you're gonna wanna look for to see if there's any kind of leaks, because corrosion only happens when there has been water. The other thing is this is what's called a temperature and pressure relief valve, or a TMP valve. One of the things that you're going to want to look for is on the TMP valve, if this has any kind of water coming through it, or if it has some kind of fittings on it and you see corrosion on those fittings, that's a sign that this is releasing water. So with that being said, this is only there for temperature and pressure, like I was saying. First being pressure, if the water pressure in the house is so high, this is going to act like a relief valve in order to make sure that this is not turning into a big bomb. The other thing is for temperature. Temperature and pressure go hand in hand, and if the temperature starts to skyrocket, this is also going to release just to, again, make sure that this is not any kind of bomb. The next thing we want to look at is this. This is what's called your gas control valve. It has a few different components to it, one being obviously the gas control valve, another being the burner assembly, thermocoupler, pilot light, and you also have essentially the sparker or the igniter. So one of the things we often see with water heaters, if you're not getting any hot water, one of the first things we check is to make sure that the thermocoupler is working right. The thermocoupler is essentially the device that makes sure that the pilot light is lit and actually on fire. One of the ways that we check it is by taking off this plate right here, as well as disconnecting these components. And once you have those screws off, now when it's disconnected from here, you're able to essentially just pull this out, and this is what we're looking at. So this is the burner. This is the igniter right here. This is what's the pilot light. And then this rod right here is what's called the thermocoupler. The thermocoupler, you can see on here, it has a bunch of white on it. So that could be signs of it needs to be cleaned in order for it to actually sense the flame. So what we do in that situation is you just grab something abrasive, as far as from like Scotch-Brite, sandpaper, or even so much as if you had like a pocket knife just to scrape it clean. Do that whole thing, and then once you're done scraping that, then you could pretty much say that that's not going to be so corroded anymore, and it's going to be able to pick up the heat better. So once you do that, you could put it back in here. You connect all these different components, then you go through the process of lighting it. Usually right here, you can see that it says lighting instructions, and it'll essentially tell you all the different steps that you need to do. On these newer styles, it has a status light, so you essentially just put it into the pilot setting. You hold it down, wait a few seconds, and then hit this. This is what controls the sparker. You hear that click. That's what makes it essentially spark. You'd just be looking through the sight glass to see if you saw a blue flame. Then usually you have to wait, I don't know, about a minute or so before this will start just blinking green. The other thing you can do to test the thermocoupler is with these two wires, if you have any kind of voltmeter, you can stick these tongs into here on, obviously red would go into red, black would go into the white because that's just the neutral or ground. And then after that, you would essentially just see, once it's lit, that this is sending. So those are the things that you'd want to look out for if you're having any kind of water heater problems. If you don't feel comfortable doing what I showed you today, or you tried doing it and it just didn't work, then certainly give a service professional a call. I can say just as a general rule of thumb, water heaters last between 8 to 10 years. So if it's getting to that age, it might be time to think about replacing it. But if you have any questions, concerns, or just need some advice, then give us a call.